All right. Let's go ahead and get things started here. Welcome, guys. Welcome. Whoa, 4 likes. Wow, seems like we're getting more people and more engagement whenever I do these live streams with a very brief grace period, is what I would say, 15-minute grace period. But again, as I've already told you guys in the live chat, and if you guys in the Discord, that I may just have to officially change the time to 8:15 p.m. or 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I will definitely consider that from now on, based on how I've been seeing all the interaction and all the people coming in and able to come in and stay for these live streams. So I'll let you guys know. It's TBD. Okay, so I do have something very interesting to point out today. So unfortunately, first of all, my SMH short that I mentioned to my private members, if I can just show it here, okay. This one, it looked really good to the downside. I mean, it was absolutely starting to lose momentum and lose that bullish sentiment. However, what we got was an actual pretty solid bounce, I would say, today, and we actually regained both the daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs. And this was the fact, the true reality for most of the leaders today, right? Just today. And especially we saw the leading groups and mega cap stocks bouncing back, pivoting from their respective support levels and continuously making higher highs and higher lows throughout the entirety of today. So, you know, semiconductor stocks, the Mag 7 group, they've had an amazing day today as well. And even cybersecurity, right? Cyber had a pretty good bounce today as well, relatively low volume, but it was able to reclaim the daily 10 SMA at the end of the day, right over here. 10 SMA is my red line, and we closed over it. So with all these leaders acting suddenly so bullish, thanks to the reaction to the PPI data, which is again a little bit more cooler and tamer than what we saw in the CPI data, I think today felt more like a bear trap at the lows of today's market. All right, so if I go back on SPY, all right, so we immediately flushed in the morning, but based on how we closed, that flush just seemed like it was trying to trap any type of bears who were very bearish yesterday, right? So, you know, like I've already highlighted on Tuesday's live stream, right? You guys should always understand where you need to get out, right? You need to understand and know where to get out for any type of biased positions that you may have. And that was in the case for me, my SMH position, my semiconductor short position. And I got out with the loss, but I knew where I had to get out, and I knew that the market was telling me that I'm wrong, right? So fortunately, I saved myself from a huge, from a bigger loss at the close, because SMH closed at highs, right? It closed at highs and it continued to push up higher and higher and higher, and I believe it went up more than 3 points after my stop loss exit. So, you know, I saved my ass there, really. So that's the reason why I really just made sure that you guys understand, or it's just overall imperative for you guys to know and understand where you need to get out and know when the market is telling you that you are wrong. So, you know, for SPY now, tomorrow, there is a slight chance that we can actually see a breakout. So first of all, you have to go on the 2-hour time frame. So I mentioned this to my members last night. I just did a quick review on the overall intraday time frame for the S&P 500, and I mentioned that we are starting to make this descending resistance trend line. Now, today we actually closed over it. Well, if we closed over 518 or even just 517, we would be over this, depending on how long it took us to get over this descending resistance trend line. But instead, we actually closed over that 517 level and closed at 518, right? 518.05 to be specific. So this is pretty interesting to look at because we still have yet to see a higher high compared to this previous lower high. And so first of all, let me guys give you the first lower high pivot point. So the first one's here, or if you guys want to be a bit more specific, you guys can go all the way back here and say this is the previous pivot high, since this is the all-time high at $524.61. But I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna focus on this descending trend line first. Right? I mean, we already know what the all-time high number is. I mean, everyone should know what that is, right? So, this descending trend line is pretty interesting because it looks bullish, right? This looks really bullish because, first of all, just take a look at this, right? I mean, this looks like a typical W or double bottom chart pattern. And, we tend to see these coinciding smaller time framed bullish chart patterns on below a more bearish looking trend. Right, so obviously on the daily time frame, this still looks bearish. Why? Because we still closed below my daily 10 and my daily 21 SMAs. Yes, we popped over it and we basically retested it as resistance areas, SMA resistance areas, but we weren't able to close over it as we closed exactly at 518, or I believe it's 518. I don't know why it was showing 518.05, but hey, charts sometimes lie, right? Sometimes these charting platforms tend to have some of the data wrong, but I believe we ended up at 518 today, right? Flat. So it's interesting to see when the RSI too, just based on this average line here for the SMA, and the fact that we're also making lower lows and lower highs on the RSI itself, tells me that we are still losing momentum. And any of these large pops in intraday or on any day to the upside are still some FOMO buying that's still coming in, right? Now, overall today, market breadth was not too good because we only saw a handful of leaders moving up higher while the rest of the laggards were kind of struggling, all right? We've seen bigger ranges on the leaders compared to the laggards. I mean, if you take a look at IWM, right? IWM, it's still pretty much within yesterday's range. In fact, we're looking at a very nice inside candlestick, right? Today's high was only 2 cents off. So, it makes you kind of wonder if this market bounce today was viable, right? It's viable for more of the bullish traders and investors to return and continue to buy up the markets, as we've seen since last year's low, right? November's low or October's low. Oh, there's a spider here. Hold on, guys. Making things interesting. All right, success. Hey, 5 likes. Thank you guys. Let's continue to run up that number. So with IWM, MDY, these laggards just failing to show that relative strength that we saw in the S&P 500 or even NASDAQ or even the Dow Industrial Jones, right? If you guys want to take a look at that, I haven't looked at this in a while, right? DJI, they all look pretty, well, the laggards feel pretty sluggish. So I need confirmation tomorrow if these laggards are going to actually participate with today's price action by moving up higher tomorrow. And again, my sentiment is still bearish because again, we have not retaken and closed over both of my daily 10 and daily 21 SMAs, which are still both curling down. So to me, I don't have a say as to whether or not I want to switch yet, because again, there is no reason to switch, right? To flip back to being bullish. And I've already stated on Tuesday's live stream as well that this downtrend, this potential pullback for quarter two, is going to be very, back and forth. It's going to be a lot of whipsaw. All right, and it's going to be a hard fight between the bulls and the bears, especially the FOMO bulls, who are still trying to get in this market after this incredible run up since last year's October's lows. So, I'm ready for it. I am still short on the S&P 500. I'm looking to add tomorrow if we do decide to move right back down, and that will also confirm that today was just another, intraday. Daily bounce, overall daily bounce that bulls just came back as it sucked in all the late bears from yesterday early in the morning. Okay, so I love the fact that we have I believe, so I remember pointing this out earlier in the morning that we made a lower low compared to yesterday's low by 1 cent. It's a difference of 1 cent. So we have today's low at 512.08, and yesterday's low was 512.09. So that was indeed a clear indication that this could be a bear trap, and indeed it was. All right. So overall, the volume was dismal, and I'm still expecting for us to retest the daily 50 SMA before we see any type of a confirmed pivot back to the upside. That usually means that, again, I'm still aiming for that 510 level. That still hasn't changed because the daily 50 SMA is still slowly creeping up higher, and it will converge on top of this 510 support level. But on the other hand, if we do decide to break up and out to the upside tomorrow, the daily 50 SMA will continue to go past the 510, and we'll have to raise our floor, our short-term floor, for a potential pullback, right? So, for a potential move back down, and obviously our targets for any type of a move down. So 510 will have to be lifted, unfortunately, if that is the case tomorrow. So those are your two scenarios that you guys need to be looking out for. But again, the trend is still to the downside. How do we know this? Well, first of all, we made a very puny lower low today, and we still have not broken over the previous pivot high point, which is right here on Tuesday of this week. So as long as we're staying underneath this low and also today's low as well, we are still good to go tomorrow. But if we start breaking over today's high, that is going to be problematic. Right? We do not want to be breaking over today's high and over Tuesday's high as well. That's not good because we're restarting the uptrend. Okay, so obviously 524 is the major resistance level to be looking at. That's the all-time high level, and if we do retest it, we will probably reject it again. There's a lot of heavy sellers in this all-time high area. Let me extend this area here. So I'm pretty sure I explained this to you guys before, but I have a nice little supply area from 530 to 524 in the event that we break over 524. But to be honest, I don't really see much of a reason to be so bullish, as we've been still seeing the underlying indications that we are still a bit weak. And unless that is completely negated tomorrow, I won't be changing my sentiment and my forward analysis for tonight. Just for tonight, okay? I have to see what's going to happen tomorrow. So for SPX, for anyone who uses SPX, it's the same thing, right? It's literally the same thing. But for SPX, I am still expecting for the daily 50 SMA to be retested as well. So if we're able to come back down and break below 5140 and eventually hit 5110 or 5110 and eventually hit 5100, this flat whole number level, then that'll be great. That'll be absolutely ideal for SPX, right? But just like with SPY, if I translate everything that I said for SPY and onto SPX, we do not know what's to come tomorrow. And if we do break to the upside, we need to be looking out for that all-time high area of 5260, or on SPY 524, all right, $524. So make sure you guys are on watch for that. Now, we saw a lot of mega caps like Apple showing really good strength today. I mean, look at this. All right, just absolutely amazing big move up. However, this one is still bogged down. All right, I mean, if you just take a look at the weekly time frame, it looks horrible. Okay, we just decided to bounce off of that and pivot away from this 168 support level, right? And excuse my levels here; they're all coinciding with the intraday time frames and the daily, weekly, and the monthly as well. So that's why I have a lot of levels here. It's a very popular name that everyone uses and looks at. So it's the same thing for me. So I have a lot of levels. So Apple here really drove the market sentiment to be more bullish today. It really moved the needle with the markets, since Apple is still the most heavily weighted stock in the S&P 500. And we saw stocks like Google making new all-time highs today. I believe so. Yep. All-time highs. Amazon still grinding up higher. We saw Meta making new highs today. It's a very small, actually no, not new highs. Well, it had a nice reversal back to the upside, but very small range day. And we also had, I believe, Microsoft. Yeah, Microsoft had a nice pop as well. And Microsoft could potentially provide us with another very quick run up tomorrow if we're able to see the market pushing up higher, and Microsoft should be able to blast through 430 tomorrow and make new all-time highs if that is indeed the case. And that could be a potential day trade, who knows, right? But overall, yeah, so mega cap stocks and just the overall leading groups have been just really grinding higher today. It really held everything. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ were absolutely looking like they wanted to rally. But underneath the hood, we see that not everything is correct and directionally bullish. In fact, we're seeing more and more stocks that are below their 50-day average, right? The 50-day moving average, or the 50 SMA, right? The simple moving average. And I see a lot more stocks that are starting to break below and are below the daily 50 SMA, and also staying below their daily 10 and 21 SMAs. So at some point, I think that is going to be taken as a serious indication, and sentiment will eventually drop hard, and we'll see a lot of fear coming in, and then we can see the overall markets following suit. Okay, so that's kind of what I think right now for tonight. Make sure you guys watch the recording just to make sure you guys understand what I've said so far tonight. Hey, Sparky, Spider-Man. Yeah, I mean, it must have been Spider-Man, right? And right on my trading desk, actually. He wanted to know what's up. You want to know what's up for tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, the PPI report, again, it's just basically the overall inflation reports to this week, the CPI and PPI report, essentially summarized to what I said in the description box below as well. You know, they're paying less, right, for goods, but then they're charging us more, the consumers. That's essentially what it is, what's been happening. And that's not really good, inflationary-wise, but at the same time, PPI, well, I can delve into this a lot more, but I would love to reserve that for my members for this weekend's newsletter. But you know, overall, that's kind of the sentiment that you guys should be holding. Inflation is it's kind of teetering on going. Well, it is teetering on going away from the Federal Reserve's 2% target. But it's still relatively low, right? We have come down a lot since the highs of like 9.2%, I believe, for the headline CPI, or is it 9.1? Whatever it is, all right? So it's been quite a while since I've seen the most recent high that we saw during the 2022 crazy rise in inflation. So, you know, I truly believe that if mega cap stocks continue to rise up higher, just like, you know, all these stocks like Microsoft, Meta, Apple, okay, Amazon, we can continuously see the market moving up higher, unfortunately, for our bearish thesis. So just keep your eyes on that. We need to be very flexible in this market. I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing very, very volatile price action until maybe next week. maybe in the first half of next week, we're going to be seeing earnings season starting again. We're going to be seeing a huge amount of earnings reports coming out next week. So that may also be a factor into providing more market volatility. But overall, I think I'm still going to uphold my sentiment, my bearish sentiment heading into mid-quarter two, unless something absolutely changes, unless, again, the markets make new all-time highs and I have to change my outlook. But we are still needed for a pullback. That's all I will say, right? We're still needing a very, very textbook pullback. I would not dismiss any of these big moves up like we saw today. We're up 3.88%. 3.88 points, or about 0.75%. And that's nearly a percent move to the upside today, especially from today's lows, right? I mean, this is a pretty big range, and it basically attempted to fill in the gap that we made from Tuesday and Wednesday from, reacting off of CPI yesterday. But again, I wouldn't dismiss these bounces, but dismiss it for number one. I wouldn't dismiss it because number one, these could be just bull traps again, and number two, these can also restart and rekindle that bullish momentum and sentiment. So we need to be on our toes, our tippy toes. Okay. Hopefully you guys understood that, and hopefully you guys can smash that like button down below if you guys are understanding what I'm saying, and also if you guys are enjoying what I'm saying, and most importantly, hopefully you guys are able to apply what I've said tonight. Right. So again, I gave you guys a pretty a simple trade idea tomorrow too for Microsoft, actually. If you're able to break over 430, and if you do see a break over 430 and into all-time highs, I mean, that will definitely move the needle in the markets, as well as the rest of the mega cap stocks or mega cap tech stocks, or specifically the Mag 7 stocks, will eventually continue to move up higher. So, I mean, that's not gonna be too good for our thesis, but hey, we gotta follow what the market tells us, right? And we need to understand when we are wrong. I have really made that imperative on Tuesday's live stream. That's the reason why I repeated myself today and quite a few times on that same statement on Tuesday. So hopefully you guys are heeding my advice and you guys are keeping your capital safe. Okay, so the last thing that I want to talk about tonight, guys, is the fact that small caps. All right, small caps. I'm gonna revisit this. So on the weekly time frame, we are still very bullish on small caps. The thing is, though, ideally, and this is my own personal bias, so this is 100% my bias, my speculation, so don't take this to heart. I would love to see the IWM, or the overall small and mid cap stocks, or the overall group, market cap group, to continue to move down and then pivot somewhere from mid to late quarter two, so that we can see a very good pivot to get right back in for longs on both, whether it be mid caps or small caps. And specifically for me, I would love to see a break below 200 so that we can continue to see an overblown bearish sentiment to the downside, and then we have a sudden pivot back to the upside, giving us a nice V-shaped recovery, and we can continue to move up higher. But alas, that's just my speculation. I'm not going to hold it to my own heart. I'm just thinking like that. It's just my bias. But again, IWM has held this $200 psychological whole number level pretty good this week. And the weekly 21 SMA is almost caught up now. And if you guys remember, when I talked about IWM on the weekly, I was getting pretty wary about the fact that the price was moving pretty rapidly away and really making a large difference and gap from the price to the weekly 21 SMA. But now, after like a month and a half has passed, the weekly 21 SMA is catching up. So I would expect, like small cap financial names, biotech especially, they can start to participate and move back up higher, and making, small caps and mid caps reclaim their weekly 10 SMAs, especially IWM here. I believe MDY has lost. Oh, it did not lose. So MDY did not lose its daily 10. So it's a lot stronger, but it still has more room to the downside since, again, the weekly 21 SMA is still very far away. But IWM is not like that, right? It's now kind of in between this tightening, this ever tightening area between the weekly 10 and the weekly 21 SMAs. So if we continue to hold over 200, I might just start a position, whether it be next week or even maybe tomorrow, who knows, right? But like I said, the overall kind of contributors to small caps are the small cap financial stocks and biotech stocks. And if they start to move together, right, in tandem, we will see IWM seeing more relative strength, and we can see the actual laggards catching up to today's bounce, since it was kind of a lackluster bounce today, right? This is a half-hearted attempt, since we got a nice inside day candlestick on the Russell 2000. So, we basically got what we what I was expecting personally, where we're kind of back in this very large macro bull flag, and it seems like the price wants to complete this flag after breaking below this descending flag resistance trend line. So, I'm gonna keep my eye out on this on IWM, because I still truly believe that we can have a huge run up on IWM for the rest of this year when we do decide to pivot, and whenever that will be, and into 2025 and really into 2026 as well. But that's like going too far out there for my speculation. So I'll just say 2025, right? 2024 to 2025 should be a very good performance and years for IWM, or the overall small cap stocks. So keep your guys' eyes on IWM, MDY, and especially tomorrow, all the Magnificent 7 stocks, as they've had an amazing relative strength today. It was really just, again, the only good amount of relative strength that I found today was the Magnificent 7 stocks, right? I mean, they do move the needle on the markets, on the overall markets, but it just kind of felt odd to see that the rest of the market was kind of struggling, right? They weren't really participating with this large pivot from the market lows in the early mornings. So I have yet to see confirmation on today's bounce and the overall market's bounce, especially on the S&P 500 and NASDAQ. So make sure you guys understand where I'm coming from as the reasons why I'm not bullish yet, if you guys have already changed your sentiment. But that's where I'm coming from. If you guys disagree, that's completely fine. The market is here for disagreement and for discussion, especially. So, but yeah. And last but not least, okay, I'll end it here. But after I talk about the S&P futures, so the S&P futures is a little bit ahead of SPY here. So, SPY has yet to see that daily 10 SMA. Let me actually take these out. So, put together candlesticks as well. Let me hide this. Where is it? There it is. So we have the daily 10 SMA about to converge and cross below the daily 21 SMA. So this is what we call a bearish crossover, and any SMAs or EMAs or DMA, whatever you guys use, right? Whatever moving average you guys use, it's the same name, right? A bearish crossover when we have a smaller SMA crossing downward and converging and breaking below a larger SMA. So the daily 10 breaking below the daily 21 is a bearish crossover. So that's exactly what we have on the S&P 500 mini futures. And we actually got this, I believe, yesterday, I think. Yeah, we got that yesterday. And so if we continue to use this bearish crossover as an official signal, and also continue to use the SMAs as, my short-term SMAs here is SMAs as an area of SMA resistance, then we're good to go for a nice flush tomorrow as well. But alas, we still have to see what will happen tomorrow. So right now I am just right smack in the middle. I don't know if I should be more bearish or be more bullish now. I'm just waiting to see what could happen tomorrow. And that's exactly what you guys should be doing so that you guys can sleep at night. Okay, but most importantly, let me end it at this. I don't know if the market will move on higher. Maybe I was correct initially for CPI, but based on today's action, I may be wrong if the market goes up higher. But again, I'm still holding my initial prediction and analysis and thesis that the market will go back down. So unless I'm proven wrong tomorrow. So tomorrow, make sure you guys understand for any other directional positions or overall net short or net long, whatever it may be. Make sure you guys understand where to get out, right? Know your stop losses, whether it be a percentage stop loss or an actual underlying price stop loss, mental stop loss, or an actual order, right? Stop loss order type of stop loss. Whatever it is, right? Whatever you guys are comfortable using, understand and know where you guys have to get out because the market is telling you that you're wrong. Okay, and again, a great example was SMH today for me. Right, SMH. So I might even just be long tomorrow for SMH because we've seen the semiconductor leaders today just absolutely outperforming. Okay, oops. All right, NVIDIA and AMD. Okay, AMD had a little bit of a rougher day today, not being able to participate with its counterpart NVIDIA, but NVIDIA had an amazing move today, right? Over 4%. So, I think we can see some sort of divergence happening with these leaders and laggards, maybe even into tomorrow, like we saw today. But yeah, I mean, the leaders will move the needle, the market, rather than laggards. So if we do see broader market participation from laggards tomorrow, I need to change my sentiment, and maybe even heading into next week. So watch out for that tomorrow, guys. And that's it. That's it, guys. Whoa, seven likes. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Awesome. I'm glad that you guys are liking these live streams. So, and last but not least, let me remind you guys that I may be switching the time to 8:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for both Tuesdays and Thursdays live streams, because I have been noticing that people are a bit more interactive and joining and are able to stay throughout the live stream from the beginning to the end a lot more compared to just starting at 8 p.m. or 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So maybe I might just do that, but again, still TBD. I'll let you guys know if that is indeed the official times for our weekly Tuesdays and Thursdays live streams. But that is it for me, guys. I believe the market trends email is also going to be sent out tomorrow. So make sure you guys DM me on Instagram at ChartsFocus1 if you guys want to opt in. Okay, I will have an official website set up for the opt-in process for the market trends email. It's a monthly free just one email per month newsletter that I send out to everyone. Okay, so if you guys want to be in that newsletter, make sure you guys opt in by DMing me on Instagram at ChartsFocus1. Okay, so the again, as a reminder, the market trends email will be sent out tomorrow night. Alrighty, that is it for tonight, guys. Good luck to me, good luck to you guys. Make sure you guys are staying flexible, adaptable to the market conditions, and yeah, have a great and safe rest of your night. I will see you guys next Tuesday. Thank you so much for watching.